So Barow Says Bellum started from a loose group of friends from Westfield High School. We played our junior and senior year of World of Warcraft, and we ended up moving on with our lives in different directions, but we all loved the D&D scene. We met up later for an incubator, but before that I had wrote my own narrative about creative fantasy. That was done in like 2021, and as I wrote it, I thought people needed to read it. I thought it was like original. They hadn't seen that. I know they had Tor Fantasy and all this stuff. I just thought I did it a little differently and thought I had to share it. I started making my own AI gallery and inviting people to the Discord. And you know, I also had a group meeting up on the side to see if we could make it a board game. Turns out we weren't ready. We didn't have the capital to make it a board game, but as we kept going, we all were optimistic and had a lot of fun. So I kept building the gallery and creating minor narratives within the major narrative that I created for Barow Says Bellum. And I think a lot of people would like the ideas that I've come up with, and I think they should sponsor me in a crowdfunding or Kickstarter. I feel like I'm going to keep coming up with ideas, and if I keep getting the team to, you know, weave it all together, you're going to have something that you'll want to work with and play and enjoy the domain that we've created. So that's what I'm all about. It's not that long of a story. So SemiFalse came up out of a name. I just got the Tier 2 20th anniversary for Mage because I had won it through playing World of Warcraft, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a character and a name, and I had two names that I really was wrestling. One was Quasi-Pseudo, like, you know, Quasimodo, and the other one was SemiFalse, which is an arrangement of like kinda or true or false, you know. So I kind of had a sense that was a cool tech name, like Logic, you know, and I was like, wow, you know, maybe I could do something like that. I know it sounds something similar to Microsoft, and I got into talking with Anthony about like horse racing and what we would name horses, and made up this narrative about naming horses and how Glycerine and Semi-Gloss would come together and make a horse named SemiFalse. And it was a joke because I knew his wife was into equestrian, you know, by just knowing their family, so it was kind of cool. What ended up happening, I sold it. I told Anthony that there was something going on with the name that I had heard about in Korea with another company being BTOB with the acronym, and then what ended up happening is I got back to Anthony. He was right. He was like, the domain had been taken up. And I said, I have another name sitting here, and it's kind of like a tech name I like. And I was like, why don't we go forward with SemiFalse? And I had planted a seed, and I just thought like, hey, let's move over to SemiFalse and let's see where we can go there. And it seemed to stick, and we shared it with everybody. Nobody argued, and I made some cool logos behind it. There's something like Red Fire Mage, you know, to represent the whole mage idea where it came from. And that's where we got it. The first edition of SemiFalse is like a BattleNet. You know, Microsoft has their own BattleNet where they have like 4 shells of like different video game suites, and I feel like that's kind of the direction I wanted to go. And I do have a mechanical engineering degree. I can see incorporating other technologies around SemiFalse, similar to what Microsoft does, but little different applications in the future. I like drones. I've been always advocating for more drone solutions, so we'll see what we do. And yeah, I'm just excited and optimistic for the future. I feel like, you know, once capital comes through some of these, like, you know, video game or narrative or animation, we can diversify and spend in other places with the talent behind the name. So everyone, I hope you all just enjoy what's to come, and thank you. Yeah, so the name Barow, it's a derivation off of the Barrow's Tea Shop in England. That was supposedly the place where Tolkien and his friends had made their life story behind what inspired the Tolkien franchise of Lord of the Rings. The whole thing is, I wanted to make a character that was very masculine and strong, and I was playing a warrior, so I was like, what embodies that? So I named it Barow, as Americanized with 1 R, you know. And my friend was all for it. He taught me how to play the warrior class. His name was Ryan Clark, and it ended up working out really well. Our guild always, you know, had a high DPS that just was consistent, reliable, and everybody seemed happy that I named the character. So I ended up playing this character over multiple expansions, and I mean, there were small complaints, you know, just learning each season, but I think there's nothing, you know, the name can't handle. I think I've represented this character and identity of Barow really well, and it's really strong, and a lot of people know him in the World of Warcraft community, so I feel like they probably have no problem with me taking this name and making a home for it. And just, I wasn't allowed to put the true identity of my friends in any of these characters per se, but you know, everybody wants this masculine, strong group that is victorious in the end. So ideally, I took the elements of a meta in my own mind, what I thought was the most creative meta, and I had come up with solutions to where all these strengths and advantages could be used to dominate in a wartime scenario, kind of an assassin assembly group that can take on any general or whatever, to be war ready and to be just strong and reliant and always there to be victorious in the end under any circumstances. Yeah, I would say I believe as a Christian I have the Holy Ghost, and I like have something called the Jimmy Neutron brain blast, and I feel like God just gave me like a streak of good ideas that I just kept writing down, and I eventually gave it to some editors and we shaved it up into a polished story. And I really am thankful that my brain works like that, where I can just hear from God and just put it into writing, you know, what's going on in my life and synthesize. Other than that, I know major works such as Nintendo and Mortal Kombat and all these guys, they've got some cool kind of fighter mentalities, you know, where they have one-on-ones. Ideally, you know, Barrow's Tempus Bellum would love to have a one-on-one fighter where you can choose the champions and have them duke it out. I think y'all would appreciate that. We can build the lore and identity of these characters up to where you have a fun time playing. But we'll see. For the time being, just be patient, and we'll see where the direction of this company leads us. Yeah, just for all the people that are investing into BTOB, just expect something different. We're trying to meet you guys where you're at. Maybe you're used to seeing something as concrete. Hopefully, it can change you up a little bit and become something that you'd be willing to work with, or not scared of, or you know, can see in a different context. So there's been several ideas about a museum gallery-like thing for the website that's been going on. Anthony and Monica have been working on that pretty diligently for me, and I don't know how soon they're ready to release it, but we'll let you know when it comes through. It's just supposed to represent like a computer science and logic like background. Okay. Yeah. And like a true, false, or true false. You know, if it's not truly false, that is true. You know, the whole point is there's some ambiguity behind the name actually, or if it's not totally true, is it somewhat false? You know, so the whole point is there's more going on behind the story that you see. Just continue to find the truth. You know, that's what I'm challenging every person to do. You know, why did we do this? Why are we going at it? You know, like if there's any personal accusation in my life, is that true about me? Or, you know, have you actually realized what Jesus thinks about it? You know, that's the whole thing. The SemiFalse is I would say, if you want to make a logical comparison, it's the difference between what heaven sees and what the earth sees, you know? So heaven might see the perfect picture, we see the broken picture, but where's the intersect between it? Is it SemiFalse at this point? We're not there, you know? The other stories that might be featuring on my SemiFalse website, I would say we might launch Moonshot Unlimited. It's it's highly contested because it deals with some of the interests at hand. It's kind of like a variation of Galaga and StarCraft, you know, integrated and combined into one sequence, kind of at an arcade stand. So we'll see if we can make that happen. Another one was kind of like, you know, MI6, you know, patrolling the European front with different agents trying to figure out what's going on, how to hold the peace, hold key Dominion points to keep the peace. That was one of them. That was called Fractal System Overwatch, FSO. Let's see, the other one, let me see. There's a fourth brand. I don't know how we're gonna make it a video game, but it's a good story for now. Apparently in Revelations, there's the 4 angels of Asia that will be unlocked later later on in the prophecy, and I was just gonna create a fun narrative around that, you know. Maybe not adding to that, just adding the game around it, you know, based off the concrete point. That's concrete, but you know, don't want to mess too much with Revelation, but there's some cool ideas that can come off of like an power emerging in Asia, you know. So we'll see. If you decide to sponsor SemiFalse or the Barow Tempus Bellum campaign that we got going on, just know that like we're gonna put some effort and the money's gonna go to the right people. These artists really want to do some work, and there's a lot of demand for people asking for work from me, and I feel like money's the biggest obstacle. So if y'all really wanted to just say if you want more content that's original in the world, I recommend you gift to us, and hopefully we can deliver quicker with a little more capital. So thank you.